What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Guns N' Roses True Story. And today we're talking about the song Perfect Crime. Now, Perfect Crime is the fifth song on Use Your Illusion 1 and the shortest song on the album. It clocks in at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. And the song was written by Axl Rose Slash and Izzy Stradlin. And the song was pretty much ready to go and could have been included on Appetite for Destruction as mentioned in Slash's book. So he said in his book, we're counting the first pre-production session to Appetite for Destruction. He said we booked ourselves at SIR Studios with Mike Klink. At the board, the band felt free to be ourselves. At our very first pre-production session, we started writing what would later become You Could Be Mine. At another session, we started to work up Perfect Crime, which was something that Izzy brought in. We weren't in there to write new material, but we were so comfortable that it just came to us. And if you guys have read Mark Cantor's book, Reckless Road and the Making of Appetite for Destruction, Perfect Crime is actually discussed in the book. So the first time Perfect Crime was ever played was on October 31st, 1986, at Ackerman Hall at UCLA, and Guns was actually opening for the Red Hot Chili Peppers for that show, and Axl introduced the song by saying, alright, this is a new one by Mr. Izzy Stradlin, this one is called Perfect Fucking Crime. So maybe they changed the name later on for the Illusions Records. Unfortunately, there's no live footage or audio recording of the actual gig. There's just the excerpt from Reckless Road and of course, GNR on tour set list as well. And the song was only played that once in 1986, and then it wasn't played for 5 years. The last time it ever showed up in a Guns N' Roses concert was on May 9th of 1991 when Guns played the Warfield Theater in San Francisco. And it was a pretty big staple of Guns N' Roses set list throughout 1991 and part of 1992. And interestingly enough, the last time that Guns ever played Perfect Crime live was at their infamous gig in Montreal, Canada in 1992. That was the gig where James Hetfield was burned in a pyrotechnic accident and Guns N' Roses went on stage and only played about 8 or 9 songs, and then Axl walked off the stage and a riot ensued. And Perfect Crime actually opened the St. Louis show that Guns did in 1991, where their first riot of the Illusions tour ensued. And there's only 2 pro shot performances of Perfect Crime that I've been able to find. One is the St. Louis show, and then the other one is the homecoming show that Guns played in Noblesville, Indiana. And I've linked to both of them down below if you guys want to go check them out. And it was pretty normal that Guns would open their shows with the song Perfect Crime. And Perfect Crime showed up once again in 2016 as part of Guns N' Roses' reunion tour. There was numerous photos taken of Guns' alternate set list, and Perfect Crime showed up a few times. On any 2017 photos we've seen of alternate set lists, Perfect Crime is no longer included. And of course, in 2016, Guns never played Perfect Crime. It seemed like it's a song that's just too demanding on Axl's voice. And in an interview Axl did with MTV News in 1992, he talked about his psychotherapy he was undergoing and how it's helped him. And MTV unfairly basically did a before and after. In the before shot, they showed him at a concert in Dallas in 1991 singing Perfect Crime. If you guys have heard the song, it's a very angry, aggressive kind of song. And then the after, it shows him singing Paradise City, which is more of a calmer song, I guess, if you compare it to Perfect Crime. And I thought that was a really unfair comparison they made. And then if you guys want to see the video, I've linked to it down below. And then in 1999, a few weeks before Oh My God was actually released, the song was, listened to by several people who got to hear it ahead of everybody else. And they said the song is reported to be grand in scale, both lyrically and musically. Apparently, Axl has successfully rekindled the aggressiveness of It's So Easy and Perfect Crime in a song that's a natural evolution of the complicated songwriting involved in the Use Your Illusion albums. And then back in 2008, when Axl was doing open chats with fans, one fan asked him, I'm glad you dusted off Don't Cry in 2007. Anything else aside Perfect Crime, which is on the set list, that may be brought back from the dead in the future? And Axl sort of brushed it off. He said, I'd like to do Estranged at some point, but there's no plans. I know the guys pick a couple every so often on their own to get down, but I don't know what those are. And then in 2013 on Twitter, Bumblefoot was asked about his favorite guitar riff from the Guns N' Roses catalog. He said the middle riff of Perfect Crime and Brownstone. And then Slash said in 1992 in an interview he did that Perfect Crime has a pretty out there solo in it. And then the one thing that's definitely the holy grail of any Guns N' Roses fan is the documentary that Guns N' Roses shot during the Use Your Illusion tour. So during the whole 2.5-year tour, they had a documentary crew following them around to every gig, even following them, between gigs. And that documentary was titled Perfect Crime, or The Perfect Crime. and apparently it was supposed to come out in 1994, but because of disputes between band members at that time, it never got released. So one can only hope that it's sitting in a vault somewhere, and due to the reunion happening over the past year or so, that maybe someday it'll get released. And even Slash referenced it in his book, talking about all the Guns N' Roses footage they shot over their 2.5-year tour. According to the book Watch You Bleed, the Saga of Guns N' Roses by Stephen Davis, he says Perfect Crime is the confessions of a retired mid-level dope dealer recalling the sordid aspects of making a living from hustle and flow, where the only objective is surviving long enough to push more dope to the next night. And let's look at where it ranks on the Guns N' Roses best and worst song list. So Spin.com ranked it number 53rd out of, around 83 songs. So it's not ranked that high, but I know when you read the forums, a lot of people love this song. And then, Medium.com gave it a much higher rating. They said it was the 36th best Guns N' Roses song, and they said it's sort of a logical successor to My Michelle. So the last list we'll look at is LA Weekly's. They ranked it number 34th on their list. So that does it for my look back at Perfect Crime. Thanks for watching, guys. Unfortunately, there's no demo of the song available, and it's a little disappointing because there's always these certain songs that you want to hear demos of, but I guess Perfect Crime isn't one of those. So thanks for watching, guys. That does it for this week's episode of True Story. Let me know what your thoughts are on the song, and do you think Guns N' Roses would play it in 2017 as part of their tour? I don't think they could play it just given Axl's voice. I think it'd be really hard on his voice. But then again, they are singing Coma, so it's hard for me to say. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for all things related to Guns N' Roses. And go like my Facebook page, Guns N' Roses Central, and my Twitter handle too. So I've linked to all my social media stuff down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.